way of the Google and Apple Store is the Nextdoor Radio app. Anywhere you want to go, you can take Nextdoor with you. All the local talk programs, all local sports, and a great mix of 70s, 80s classic rock, you can now take anywhere you want to go by download the Nextdoor Radio app today. Available Google and Apple stores.
Welcome to December 8th, 2022 in the National Day calendar. Today we celebrate bending time and dessert on the go.
Hey, do you like to get the party started? Do you want to make the holiday cheer last all year? Then just head over to nationaldaycalendar.com and pick up your own 2023 National Day printed calendar. It's filled with hundreds of reasons to celebrate every day. Get a jump start on the fun. Just go to nationaldaycalendar.com and pick up your own calendar. And if you enter promo code radio, you'll get 10% off.
You know, I always wish I had the nerve to celebrate Pretend to Be a Time Traveler Day. This National Day began with a blog post in 2007 inviting participants to create a character from the future or past and to dress as that character for an entire day. How about you guys? Did you ever think about this day and want to pick a side, future or past?
I've already been there.
Oh, been there, done that? What about you, Marlo?
Well, I always feel like I'm a geek, of course, so I'd love to see what the future brings, but I feel like I should have been born like 100 years earlier.
I'm with you.
Well, it's okay, Marlo, you were.
Wow.
Thanks,
okay.
John.
You know, on Pretend to Be a Time Traveler Day, have fun baffling those around you with your own version of cosplay.
There are many versions of the origin story for brownies. Some say it was a forgetful chef who left the flour out of his batter by mistake. Another account tells of a home chef who improvised when she discovered she had no baking powder for her cake. But an earlier version of the story starts with Bertha Palmer, an American socialite. Bertha wanted a special dessert that would fit neatly into a box lunch for her friends attending the Chicago World's Fair of 1893. Her husband owned the Palmer House Hotel, and one of the chefs there devised the perfect cake-like dessert that could be eaten by hand. The same recipe is served by the Palmer House Hotel to this day, so it must be tasty. On National Brownie Day, celebrate with your own favorite version.
So I took my machine back in time and checked, and it's definitely the second part of the story.
I was going to say that. I'd go back. I'd go to the Chicago's World's Fair, that's for sure. I'm Anna DeVere.
I'm Marlo Anderson.
Thanks for joining us as we celebrate every day.
See you tomorrow.
The holiday season is here. Let McCormick Creation Gifts and More be your go-to for your custom gift boxes. Shop personalized and custom gift boxes for employees, clients, friends, and family. Located inside Triangle Town Center in Raleigh, North Carolina, across from T-Mobile. McCormick Creations open every day for your gift-giving needs. Check us out at www.mccormickcreations.com. Again, that's www.mccormickcreations.com. Discover the rich history of Granville County at the Granville Museum in historic downtown Oxford. From science and military to moonshine and art gallery and so much more. The Granville Museum specializes in unique, one-of-a-kind exhibits that tells the story of Granville. Small groups are welcome and a conference room is available for group meetings. Granville Museum is a small nonprofit open Tuesday through Thursday, 10 to 4, and by appointment. Interested in membership or further information, you can contact 919-693-9706. Discover rich history of Granville County at the Granville Museum in historic downtown Oxford. For more information, 919-693-9706. This was my first massage. Tracy walked me through the entire process. It made me feel comfortable as possible. We had a delightful conversation and our studio was beautiful. I will definitely be returning for another massage very soon. This is a direct quote from a review from the Whole World Massage located at 3509 Haworth Drive, Suite 205 in Raleigh. At Whole World Massage and Med Spa, our focus is you. We love working every day with people like you, helping them look, feel, and perform with youthful energy and beauty in mind and body. Call today to see how Tracy can help you feel great today. 252-213-4478. 252-213-4478.
From the Nextdoor Radio Newsroom, it's time for the Nextdoor Radio News. Peru's embattled President Pedro Castillo said on Wednesday he would dissolve Congress by decree hours before he was set to face an impeachment trial throwing the country into a full-on constitutional crisis.
The move, which appears to break normal legal channels to resolve issues between the powers of government, sparked resignations by key ministers from Castillo's government and allegations of a coup by members of Congress and others. In an address, Castillo announced a government of exception and called for new legislative elections to take place. Davis Richards reporting.
Germany on Wednesday detained 25 members and supporters of a far-right group that the prosecutor's office said was preparing a violent overthrow of the state to install a national leader, a prince, who had sought backing from Russia.
Prosecutors said the group was inspired by the deep state conspiracy theories of Germany's Reichsbürger and QAnon, whose advocates were among those arrested after the storming of the U.S. Capitol in January 2021. Members of the Reichsbürger, citizens of the right, do not recognize modern-day Germany as a legitimate state. Harry Michaels reporting.
U.S. oil prices fell in frenzied trading on Tuesday to their lowest settlement levels this year, with Brent finishing below $80 per barrel for the second time in 2022, as investors fled the volatile market in an uncertain economy.
Prices have dropped by more than 1% for 3 straight sessions, giving up most of their gains for the year. A string of bearish news has unnerved investors despite an ongoing war in Ukraine and one of the worst energy crises in recent decades. Torvi Rodriguez reporting.
China's defense ministry on Tuesday dismissed a Pentagon report that the pace of its nuclear weapons program as unfair speculation.
The Pentagon said in a report last month that China would likely have a stockpile of 1,500 nuclear warheads by 2035 if it continues with its current pace of its nuclear buildup. The figure underscores mounting U.S. concerns about China's intentions for its expanding nuclear arsenal. Jason Riley reporting.
This is the latest news headlines. In yet another sobering sign of COVID-19's widespread harm in vulnerable victims, drug overdose deaths among pregnant and postpartum people in the United States have risen sharply in recent years, especially in 2020, coinciding with the pandemic's onset. Their drug overdose mortality increased by roughly 81% from pre-pandemic 2017 to 2020, and while pregnancy-associated overdose deaths involving heroin and prescription opioids were mostly stable through that time period, large spikes in deaths occurred that involved fentanyl, methamphetamines, and cocaine. Members of the United States Capitol Police and Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department received the Congressional Gold Medal on Tuesday for defending the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. At an award ceremony, leaders from both parties described vivid memories of the riot that day and the bravery of officers who responded to the chaos. Family members of Brian Sicknick, the U.S. Capitol police officer who died in the days following the attack, notably refused to shake hands with Republican leaders during the ceremony. After more than half a century, Boeing rolled out its last 747 out of the Washington State factory on Tuesday. It took more than 50,000 Boeing employees less than 16 months to churn out the first 747. The company had completed 1,573 more since then. An association exists between people who obtain a higher percentage of their daily energy from ultra-processed foods and suffering cognitive decline. A large study with long-term follow-up released this week suggests. Overall, 58% of calories consumed in the U.S., 57% of British, 48% of Canadian, and 30% of Brazilian diets come from ultra-processed foods, the scientists said. That includes sweet and savory snacks, confectionery, breakfast cereals, ice cream, sugar-sweetened beverages, processed meats, and ready-to-eat frozen meals. And that's the latest news headlines. I'm Alan Edwards.
You're tuned in to Next Door Radio on nextdoorradio.com. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your family. Enjoy a great mix of 70s, 80s, classic rock, and some beach music right here on Next Door Radio. Also, all you have to do, say, Alexa, enable nextdoorradio.com.
Plumpy's Deli is a family-owned and operated local business located in Butner that uses only the finest meats from Boar's Head. All items are made fresh to order, and they are now serving breakfast all day long. They offer charcuterie boxes, boards, classes, and grazing tables, along with catering for all occasions, including corporate luncheons, private events, weddings, school events, parties, and more. Gluten-free and vegetarian options are available. Call 919-575-0705 to place your order today. You won't be disappointed. Plumpy's Deli is open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Visit their website and check out their menu at www.plumpys.com. That's PLUMPEEZ.com. Make sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram at Plumpy's Deli, and don't forget to stop by their location at 106 East C Street in Butner. Give them a call at 919-575-0705. Visit their website and follow them on social media for more information today.
Lewis Electric has been in business for over 53 years. It is a third-generation, family-owned business. Lewis Electric always strives to complete their projects on time. Will help any way possible with your budget. They work in a multitude of areas in the electrical field, focusing on commercial, industrial, municipalities, and more. Call them today so they can help you get your project completed on time and on budget. 919-693-6615. They're located in Oxford at 912 Williamsburg Street. Lewis Electric is your local electrician, here for you.
A Texas family was reunited with their lost cat after the feline was brought to a shelter as a stray 5 years later. The Humane Society of Harlingen said the 6-year-old cat named Ollie was adopted as a kitten in 2016 and went missing the following year. The shelter said Animal Control brought a stray cat to the shelter on November 30th, and they scanned him for a microchip. His microchip was recently looked up, and we discovered he had an owner, the shelter said. Our staff scrolled through the records and found that Ollie's last visit to the shelter was in 2016. Ollie's owner, Stephanie Garza, was contacted, and she rushed to the shelter for a long-awaited reunion. The shelter said the story should serve as a reminder of the importance of microchipping pets.
This is the latest news headlines in 60 seconds with Alan Edwards.
Germany on Wednesday detained 25 members and supporters of a far-right group that the prosecutor's office said was preparing a violent overthrow of the state to install a national leader, a prince, who had sought backing from Russia.
Prosecutors said the group was inspired by the deep state conspiracy theories of Germany's Reichsbürger and QAnon.
Peru's embattled President Pedro Castillo said on Wednesday he would dissolve Congress by decree hours before he was set to face an impeachment trial, throwing the country into a full-on constitutional crisis. China's defense ministry on Tuesday dismissed a Pentagon report that the pace of its nuclear weapons program as unfair speculation. U.S. oil prices fell in frenzied trading on Tuesday to their lowest settlement levels this year. That's the latest headlines in 60 seconds. I'm Alan Edwards.
You have an event, upcoming show, or update about the community? If so, send your public service announcement to contact@nextdoorradio.com or send by mail to P.O. Box 2491, Oxford, North Carolina.
Hey, we made it easy for you here on Next Door Radio and nextdoorradio.com. Available now by way of the Google and Apple Store is the Next Door Radio